Formula One World Championship, the Spanish Grand Prix at Barcelona's Catalunya circuit. 65 tiring laps over the next hour and a half, described by Martin Brundle and Murray Walker. Now then, Murray, I can't argue with your wet weather forecast at the moment.
Will it rain, said Jim Rosenthal, while Murray Walker says yes, it will. But then maybe it won't. You never know at this place. It's so changeable. You've heard the drivers and the team managers saying you never know what's going to happen at the Catalunya circuit from one 10-minute period to the next. And look at those skies now. When we came here this morning, it was clear, blue skies, bright sunshine. The forecast, for what it's worth, is that it is going to rain.
It's quite a long process they go through, but the cars are getting away well. But it surprised me to see Michael Schumacher finding the need to stop at the end of the pit lane when coming to the grid to do yet another practice start.
And he's done it so many times too in the qualifying and the practice days.
And you put a lot of energy through the transmission drive shafts and that, so you need to be a little bit careful, especially with the clutch, of course. But the other thing, Murray, is that in practice there was a problem with the weighbridge, it seems, and a lot of the cars were coming in at over 10 kilos overweight, which is about 3.5 tenths of a second around this racetrack. And it seems to me that those that were weighed were able to take 10 kilos of lead out and others weren't. So I think the grid probably doesn't fully represent the speed of some of the cars. So the first four, I think, are going to be very close. Coulthard's got a problem. Coulthard is not moving.
Oh, now this means that David Coulthard, if all the others get past him and David Coulthard doesn't start, it means that he will have to start from the back of the grid. And this is the man who, with Michael Schumacher, is leading the World Championship. Drama, to put it very mildly indeed, and just about the worst thing that David could have hoped to happen. Well, he wouldn't have hoped it would happen. It's really, really bad news for the McLaren driver.
Yes, and the team would not be allowed onto the grid to start him up until the whole pack had gone past, so Coulthard will start from the very back. Overtaking around here is a nightmare. Onto this very long pit straight, you can see now it's a 135-mile-an-hour corner, and you just can't follow closely enough to get a good run at the car in front of you. Several years since Coulthard will have started anywhere near the back of a Formula One pack, and he's got to go for it, but he's got to be so careful not to trip over.
Now, Michael Schumacher gets away, Mika Häkkinen is second behind him, Rubens Barrichello is in third place, Jarno Trulli is challenging, and sure enough, Ralf Schumacher is right up there. He is third from fifth on the grid. Ralf Schumacher in the Williams BMW moves up, and Barrichello is dropping back. In fact, he's passed Schumacher again. Ralf Schumacher has got Jarno Trulli in the yellow Jordan behind him, and the race order at the present moment, Michael Schumacher leads Mika Häkkinen, leads Rubens Barrichello in fourth position. There you can see Ralf Schumacher, and behind him is Jarno Trulli. David Coulthard comes into the pits. I'm looking across at him now, and the McLaren mechanics working furiously. You can see the back of the car up in the air. There's a new nose going on at the front. Martin.
About 19 seconds to change that nose. It's got some special fasteners to enable them to do it properly, but of course carries a massive load from the front wing and the downforce, so it has to be fixed on securely. And well, we didn't see who he tripped over, but Coulthard clearly had a fine start and got into sort of 2/3 of the way into the pack by turn one. It's clearly run into the back of somebody.
Oh, Jaguar coming together, and that is Pedro de la Rosa in the Jaguar, and
Frentzen.
It's Frentzen with him. Now they are just checking. Here's a replay.
That's into turn 7. Frentzen's gone up the inside and then couldn't help but run wide into De La Rosa.
And De La Rosa, of course, this is his first race for Jaguar. It didn't last very long. Out of the event goes Heinz-Harald Frentzen. Well, Jordan, who had reliability problems last year, certainly appeared to have overcome that this season. And Frentzen had finished in every race this year, but certainly not this one. De La Rosa, who had been expected to go to the Prost team, instead joined Jaguar, only for his race to retire on the 7th of the 65 laps. And you can see Michael Schumacher is in the lead, 2 seconds ahead of Mika Häkkinen, looking good. He's got the race under control at the present moment. Michael Schumacher on lap 10 and Benoldi out of the race. Now that's yet another retirement. Frenson out, De La Rosa out, Jordan out, Jaguar out, and now Benoldi in the arrows. And I wondered if they made contact. We didn't see anything.
No, I think it's a technical problem for Benoldi on the side of the track, but it was significant. Coulthard caught him at 2 seconds a lap and then followed him for 3 laps until he broke down. So he's got his hands full coming through the grid. His next target is Tarso Marcus. That might be a bit easier down the straight. Then he'll be cruising up to Jenson Button. Meanwhile, up at the front, it's absolutely stationary at 1.8 second gap then. Mika Häkkinen very much keeping Michael Schumacher true and honest in these early stages of the Grand Prix, and that was new boy at Jaguar, Pedro De La Rosa, walking back. But they're 2 seconds a lap slower than the leaders, and I can't help but think that truly, and who's that off? Ralf Schumacher.
Ralf Schumacher, who was fourth. So, out of the race, he's not going to get back in the race, he's beached it. The bottom of the car, the under tray is resting on the gravel. He must have just slid off the circuit out of 4th position. Up into 4th place comes Jarno Trulli. Up into 5th place comes Montoya. Up into the points comes Jacques Villeneuve in the BAR, pursued by Heidfeld and Eddie Irvine. And into the pits come the Jordan and the Williams absolutely together.
Yes, a quite early stop then at the end of lap 22, so they're coming in absolutely together. Current 5th and 6th place man, in reality 4th and 5th, now that Ralf Schumacher, I think, fell off all by himself. Just made a driving error. Who's out first?
Oh,
and it's Montoya.
Yeah, Montoya's got ahead. Montoya's got ahead. Brilliant bit of pit work by the Williams team and mechanics, and Montoya has gained a place. This is a replay.
It's in the downshift, Murray. You brake very, very late into that corner. You get a huge weight transfer forwards. Got to come down 5 gears, and suddenly you just snatch the rear wheels, and it's like a pendulum. As soon as the mass behind you gets to a certain angle, absolutely no amount of steering correction or whatever will bring it back, and Ralf then beached and out of the race.
Häkkinen stopped on 26. Watch how much fuel goes in. Should be about 7.6 seconds worth. That's a bang on target for a 2-stopper. The clock, I'm just waiting to see. Yes, about 8.2 seconds. I timed it 8.2, guys, so bang on target for a 2-stopper. Perhaps a reasonable amount of fuel for a middle stint. Let's wait and see what Häkkinen does.
Yeah, let's, because Michael Schumacher rolls majestically out of the pit lane, gives it bags of welly as he crosses this line, which indicates that he is clear of the mandatory speed limit area, and gets back into the race.
A smile on the face of the McLaren people, because they know then that if they can do another 3 laps, let's say, or whatever they can do, suggest their car is carrying about 0.2 of a second more fuel than the Ferrari on the weight. So Villeneuve he was in 4th place at that time, making a good 8-second stop there. So Häkkinen now needs to pull out some banzai, almost Schumacher-esque mid-race laps.
Indeed.
And Häkkinen in the pit lane. James, are you there?
Yes, I'm waiting for Mika Häkkinen. Now, of course, it's the opposite of Japan last year, folks, because McLaren know exactly how much fuel went into that Ferrari, so they know how long Michael will race for. They've got to get Mika out. In my view, he needed 25 seconds to be safe, so it's going to be very close indeed. The tyres he's putting on are not new. There's a delay getting the hose off. It's not a great stop by Häkkinen.
And I'm looking for Michael Schumacher. There he goes over the line as Häkkinen is trundling out. Michael Schumacher, there he is in the background. You just saw him, he's retaken the lead. Michael Schumacher crosses the line and retakes the lead as Mika Häkkinen comes out of the pits. Now again in 2nd position. The Renault technicians at Renault Sport are working furiously to improve the horsepower of their V10 111-degree engine, and my goodness, they need to. And Ferrari, as you saw for yourselves, are getting ready to bring, I imagine, race leader Michael Schumacher in for his 2nd stop, just about bang on target. Last year, Mika Häkkinen came on at lap 41 and lap 42. Here is Schumacher. Up goes the filler cap, and the refueler just waits, and bang, a beautiful stop. Michael Schumacher stops millimetrically perfect so that the fuel filler can slot in.
Brand new set of tyres again then for Michael, and that was the stop that cost him this race last year when they had the fuel problems and the lollipop went up too early, but no such problems for Michael this time around, and surely now, barring problems, and he's driving so easily and so smoothly anyway. I don't think he's near the limit at all yet of his performance this afternoon. Surely Michael Schumacher now has this race in the bag.
But as you rightly point out, Martin, as Barrichello comes in for his stop, David Coulthard has yet to do the same thing. Hear that engine racing in the background. Out he goes. Nice smooth one. Watch the filler. No, you didn't see it. But the filler cap over the main orifice closes automatically as the driver changes up into a higher gear. Out back onto the track goes Rubens Barrichello, looking good for 4 World Championship points, joining behind Giancarlo Fisichella. And into a points place goes David Coulthard, but now he is in the pits. There he is.
They've stopped Coulthard early. He was getting held up behind Montoya, so I think they've reversed the two McLarens around. Coulthard getting well out of shape 2 or 3 times into that corner. He's had a moment through this afternoon under braking, but I think they've decided to pit him early, so in a hope he can clear Montoya and get genuinely up into the points. That's Barrichello with a problem, is it?
Yeah, it looks like it. I wondered if there was anything significant. You saw Adrian Newey there in the black cap and the McLaren uniform, who is the team's designer, talking to Pat Fry, who is the top man on the strategy side.
I think that's got a broken suspension, Mary.
Yep.
Broken right rear suspension. That's why his left front's in the air. That's not a puncture.
The strategy of the McLaren team, possibly I think it is that the traffic would come into play, and Michael Schumacher is now stuck behind Montoya in particular, and other traffic and cars in the way. We're not far away from Häkkinen stop. It's going to be very close indeed, because he'll only be stationary for about just over 6 seconds, and it could be just a second in it will decide this Grand Prix.
And he does so. Mika Häkkinen in, and he comes in with a 26-second lead. It's going to be mighty close.
Yes, it is. I don't know what's going on with Michael Schumacher out there, but James, tell us through about the pit stop.
Fantastic atmosphere down here. It's just come towards McLaren in literally the last 2 laps. Michael Schumacher's just dropped off the pace. Maybe traffic, whatever. Häkkinen's put the hammer down. Slight delay, but a nice stop by Häkkinen. It's going to be very, very, very close.
Yeah, I'm looking for Michael Schumacher, and he still hasn't gone through, unlike the last time. And Mika Häkkinen's coming down to the end of the pit lane. Michael Schumacher just is into the straight, and Mika Häkkinen is going to get the lead. He does so. There is Mika Häkkinen. He's in the lead as Michael Schumacher comes out to lap Jos Verstappen. It's going to be a fantastic last 15 laps of this race, because Michael Schumacher has done his stops. Mika Häkkinen has done his stops. Mika Häkkinen is on a newer set of tyres and will therefore have greater grip. And Rubens Barrichello in my sight, as I look across the pit lane, rolls out of the race into the garage, and Montoya in the Williams moves up into a podium position, 3rd place. What a development. This is the man, Mika Häkkinen, who won in 1998, 1999, and last year. If he can just do this last 2.5 miles or so, he is going to have won this race 4 years in
He's slowing down, Murray. I thought I heard it rattling as it came past the pits last time. Mika Häkkinen is slowing right down. Is he out of fuel?
Oh, this could be absolutely fantastic. He's got to finish this last lap. Meantime, Michael Schumacher at reduced speed will be closing up on him, and there is Schumacher starting his last lap as Mika Häkkinen tours. Is he going to stop? Is Michael Schumacher in the last knockings of the race as Häkkinen looks down into the cockpit?
Sparks coming out of the back of... I thought I saw a couple of sparks, yes. So it is a pure mechanical problem for Häkkinen then, not a shortage of fuel. Häkkinen, I do not believe, will get over the finish line.
And Adrian Newey looking there, and bang, the engine's gone. And David Coulthard had the same sort of thing happen this morning in the warm-up. It was a hydraulics problem. And on the very last lap of the Spanish Grand Prix, Michael Schumacher looks as though he's going to go through and take another win. What an incredible situation. It would be his 3rd, and Mika Häkkinen has pulled off. Michael Schumacher has just got to get there. He goes into the lead. Wow, my goodness, an incredible finish. Mika Häkkinen had got the race in his pocket, only to be denied it. And look, this looks like a repeat of his situation at the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. He's going to get out of the car. No. Mika Häkkinen waves to the crowd. This sort of thing happens in motor racing, and it has happened to him, and he has taken it magnificently. Michael Schumacher doing something I've never seen him do before. Wave to the crowd, and Michael Schumacher wins in Spain for the third time to increase his World Championship lead. What an unbelievable finish, Martin.
I'm just wondering if Häkkinen can still score some points. Remember, he'd lapped everybody up to third place man. Some of those will be able to recover that lap. Where will Mika Häkkinen still be able to finish? It was the final lap of the race, and still waving at the crowd. We're waiting then for Montoya. He surely will finish second. Yes, Montoya will have unlapped himself. So second place man then Montoya, and I'm sure Villeneuve, Trulli, and probably Coulthard can all come through too. Häkkinen may score no points whatsoever.
Good news for Michelin. I've talked about the Bridgestone-Michelin battle on the tyre front, and Juan Pablo Montoya takes second position, his first podium place for Williams and BMW. Over the line goes Villeneuve third, Jarno Trulli is fourth. David Coulthard has got 2 World Championship points by finishing in 5th position, and no, Mika Häkkinen does not score a point.
Niet meer verwacht, toch nog gekregen. De overwinning in de grote prijs van Spanje. De derde keer dat Michael Schumacher hier wint. Daarmee komt hij dus op gelijk hoogte.